Hey there, Pythonic Accountant here. Today we're going to take a look at doing some vibe coding, and we're going to vibe code an accounting tool that is going to help us automate doing a three-way match. So we're going to play around with a few different things here. But to start, we're going to use a template that's really helpful for doing any vibe coding project. This is from Dan Olson. He's a really fantastic product leader. He's got a book, several books out there, but the one that he's most famous for is the Lean Product Playbook. So this template, you basically fill it out for what the summary is of the product, target customer, the problems to be solved, the requirements, some guidance, any data models, etc. And what's great is you can use AI to fill this out. So I've actually already done that. So I had a little bit of a conversation with Claude and I gave it the template and said, help me fill this out for a product that will do automated three-way match. I wouldn't really do this in real life. There's a pretty crowded market here, so it's not really something that would be worth trying to build, I think. But for demo purposes, it seems like it would be a fun one. So we got the product summary, an AI-powered accounts payable validation tool that automates three-way matching. Users upload 3 PDFs, and the system uses Claude or whatever API to extract data, perform matching logic within tolerances, detect duplicate invoices, and display a visual match exception results. Target customer, accounts payable clerk, processes a bunch of invoices, yada yada. Customer problem to be solved. You got some fake quotes here. I don't even know if we're getting charged the right price half the time. PO says 450, the invoice says 467. Product requirements. So you have 3 PDF files that you have to upload, AI-powered data extraction, and then handle variations in format, and then the three-way match. Match line items across all 3 documents by description using some fuzzy matching, and validate the quantities match, that the unit prices match within a tolerance. Line items are mathematically correct. So this looks pretty robust for a description of what needs to be built. So, traditionally you would take this and give it to a designer and they would design a front end. But instead, we're going to use AI tools to help us build out a front end. So here's the guidance on the user experience. A clean, professional, financial software aesthetic. Think Stripe dashboard makes QuickBooks. I like that. That's not bad. Got a landing page, upload interface. This is a pretty robust app we're going to try and build here. Even came up with a data model. That's fancy. So, since vibe coding is cheap or free, what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole thing and we're going to plug it into a bunch of different tools. So we're going to try Replit for one. We're going to try Claude. We're going to see if Claude can build us something. We're going to try Google's AI Studio. We're just going to compare all these and see where they end up. So let's actually we'll start with Claude. I'll just say like, build me an app. Here's the PRD. So we'll spin this one up at the same time. For fun, we're just going to have Gemini create images of the design. So I'm going to say, act as a professional, let's see, product design firm. And using this PRD, come up with a few front end design images for me to view. Then I've got the PRD. Now Replit, I created an account here. This is not even paid. I went, instead of build, which builds a full stack app, I just want to start with the front end piece of it. So we're not going to actually hook this up to an API yet. That could be, where we take it next if we want to actually hook it up to an API. But for now, we're just kind of building art of the possible. And there is one actually at Google AI Studio may be able to actually hook it up within the kind of demo to AI because they've integrated the ability to add AI to their kind of demos, which is amazing. But let's go ahead and do this one here. Start designing. And let's go over to Magic Patterns. This is another really good one. And we're going to hit generate. I may have to log in for this to work. If so, I will take care of that and come back to it. And yeah, it's making me log in. Let's see if I can log in as a Pythonic accountant. Continue. And hopefully it'll start working. There we go. Okay, continue, continue, continue. Let's go. All right. Oh, you want to know about me? Okay. Sure. I'm a founder of Pythonic Accountant. Heard about you on YouTube. Which channel? Dan Olson. And continue. Hopefully now it's building and we'll see what happens. Now finally, Google AI Studio. I'm going to do the same thing here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, you know what? I want to add in the Gemini intelligence in the app. So that's going to bake it into it. So in the actual like demo, it might work out of the box. These other ones, I don't expect them to have AI capabilities built into it. So let's see where this one's at. Still writing. That's cool. Google Gemini. Okay. Cute. All right. That's these are nice. Shutterstock. Is it actually just pulling this from Shutterstock? That's interesting. It's not very impressed with Gemini. Eh. All right. Let's see how this one's going. Replit is just doing its thing, making progress. That's cool. Still making progress on this one. It just says it's creating a few things. And then back on AI Studio, still kind of spinning. So we're going to pause. We'll come back and see how these things end up looking and see which ones are able to actually potentially function. All right, so we got some pretty interesting results here so far. Okay, so first off, Claude. Claude itself, it created some code for me to run. And so I'm in the process now of getting that all stood up. I am using Anti-Gravity, which is kind of a fun browser or IDE by Google, and it is in the process of doing that all now. And right now it's still running, so we're going to let that keep going. Then the next one is Replit. So Replit created a validate documents, this vibe match view. Let's see if we can expand it out to see the full screen. Very nice. So this is just a document preview. That's fine. Demo instructions, since this is a mock-up, you can upload any 3 files to proceed. It'll simulate the extraction. So of course, it's not actually connecting to any API, no backend, so it's just making it look like it's doing something. So it doesn't matter what files I upload, but let's go ahead and upload a few and we can just kind of show what that looks like. So let's just do the same file each time. Doesn't really matter. Mixing them up a little, process document. Let's see what it looks like. Cool. So a couple exceptions found, validated amount, total invoiced. Yeah, this is not match my documents, but again, this is just a example of what it could look like. And this is actually pretty slick. I love that it's got the summary here by line item. Pretty fascinating, like the way that they designed it, because you've got the total invoiced, validated amounts. Now, would it be nicer is if it had kind of the summary up top, like total from the PO, total invoice, total receipt, right? Maybe even like the quantity. So I think they got like a good start, but not quite far enough. So you got the dashboard, you got the validate documents, don't have that one set up, don't have that set up. So not bad. I'm gonna actually ask it. I'm gonna say, great start. I love where you're going with this. Could you actually show the comparison of the, well, actually, let's just see if we go to, oops, if we go into the dashboard, does it actually do that analysis here? Okay, it kind of does. So we see purchase order, description, you got the quantity received, it's red, so it identifies that we received less than we purchased, and then we were invoiced the total amount that we had in the purchase order. So that's a problem. So we're paying for these 5 quantity that we did not receive. And then, yeah, okay. So I don't think it's actually missing anything. The question would be, what would it take to build the back end on this, right? So maybe we can ask that, like, okay, can we build back ends and connect to Claude API? Let's see what happens. All right, next let's look at magic patterns. This is another vibe coding tool that this one's only front end, so we could not ask them to connect the back end. That's not something that they do. but still kind of fun to see what theirs looks like. So let's go ahead and use the fake invoice for the vendor invoice. We'll use the purchase order, receiving document for receiving document. And cool, pops up validate documents, and it's extracting the purchase order data, extracting receiving document data, extracting with. This is nice. I like this UI. And this is a nice clean UI as well, popping up. Okay, we got some exceptions. This is not good. The discrepancy data, of course, this is all fake data again because it doesn't have the details. And so you've got 2 by 4 by 8 DF studs. Oh, funny. So I think it's using the same data as before. It must have been in the prompt itself. Yeah. I was like, wait, how did they happen to have the exact same data? So yeah, it's using the prompt data, not something that it made up. But still, I like how this shows you up front. It doesn't hide, and you don't have to like expand to see the information around the difference between the purchase order and the quantity received versus invoice. And so you can see that variance is just like plain and simple to see. And oh, this is nice too. Note, quantity billed exceeds quantity received by 5 units. That's awesome. I like this a lot. This one, there's no matching line found in the purchase order. So that's really informational, and it's different than what the other one had. This one's fine, it matched, and then this is an additional charge you weren't expecting that was not in the purchase order. So I love this. This one is fantastic. So kudos to Magic Patterns for this. Google AI Studio. This one is really neat. So what is unique about this one is because it's Google, this is a vibe coding, front end builder, but you can include Gemini AI capabilities in this demo. And so I did. I said, hey, include some AI capabilities here. So when I upload these documents, it's actually going to analyze them, which is really cool. So let me just show you what they actually look like. So the ones we're actually using has a purchase order from Horizon Tech Industries. This is all fake. I made this with Claude. And it's got these 5 line items, and we've got the purchase order totaling, 17,423. The receiving document, it obviously it doesn't have dollar amounts, but it shows you the quantity. So this is the quantity ordered, quantity received. So we're getting 40 hours versus 50 and 20 versus 25 for these services. And then the invoice shows the correct amount. So should match. The invoice should match what the kind of unit price was in the original purchase order, and then the quantity from the receiving document. So we're going to bring those in and see if it correctly identifies everything as good. And then I'll show you the second invoice where I bumped up a little bit. I moved the price up from 150 to 160, and then I moved the hours up from 40 to or from 20 to 50. So we're getting overcharged here, but let's see if Google AI is going to catch it. So let's take the fake invoice. Boom, boom. Oops. So that's one of the downsides of this one. You can't click and drag. It's really annoying. But let's go ahead and do this. So vendor invoice, you've got fake invoice. Receiving slip, you've got receiving documents. And then purchase order, you've got purchase order. Validate documents. So this is going to take a minute because it's actually running these PDFs through kind of an AI analysis, and perfect match. That's great. So you've got the purchase order quantity and received quantity. So that's good. And invoice quantity. Interesting, it doesn't include the invoice quantity. And then purchase order price, invoice price. So why is it not showing up the invoice amounts? That's odd. Anyways, let's process the next batch. Let's see what happens if I do fake invoice 2. Again. Okay, vendor invoice, fake invoice 2, and then our receiving slip, and then our, come on, receiving documents, purchase order. So why is it not taking them? I wonder if it's because that it took them already. All right, I'm gonna refresh. Let's try it again. Purchase order, there it is, receiving slip, there it is, and then vendor invoice, fake invoice v2. So let's see if it catches the issues here. This will be very interesting if it does. And it does. Fantastic. So the weird thing is it's not displaying. It's just a weird color. That's funny. So it does have the invoice quantity and invoice price. It's just not showing up. So cool. So invoice quantity, matches the received quantity, but the price is different. So that has an exception here. And it says price mismatch, PO 150 versus invoice 160. And then this one, again, we have a difference in the invoice quantity. So they billed for 50, but only received 20. This is amazing. Okay. So this is a tool I highly recommend you trying out. Probably not as good for kind of like building a big enterprise application, but if you're building kind of a small automation that has AI built into it, like this was one shot. I took the prompt, tweaked it with Claude, put it in here, and it was almost perfect. Like the only thing is just not being able to see the invoice quantity, invoice price, because they're white font over a very light background. The other thing I think it might have done is I had in the prompt said to not allow for like duplicate invoice. And so I think it wasn't letting me upload the same file I'd uploaded before. So I'm curious if that's what it was. It didn't give me an error, but I think that's what was probably happening. So if I go to process next batch, I'm guessing it won't let me upload those files again. But where I think it could make a change would be, I think you aren't letting me upload the same file twice. Suggest adding error message about duplicate invoices. Also, we can't see the fonts for in quantity and in price, and say are white with a white background. Invoice price values. All right, so let's see if I can fix those things because I was really impressed with this one, so I love it. Now let's see. This is the tool that I use to generate the fake invoice, just Claude. Let's take a look and see what is going on with anti-gravity. And did it make any progress? Okay, one step requires input. Is it still running? Oh no, is this stuck? Um, yeah, this looks like it got stuck. All right, and pending comments. All right, so we're gonna pause on this one, see if we can fix it. I might switch to a different. I'm gonna switch over to either Cursor or just VS Code. So hold please. All right, so kind of got it working, got it up and running, but run into some bugs here. So I'm not gonna really spend much time trying to debug it, but let's see what we're dealing with here. So if I look at, whoops, if I look at yeah, here's the page. So we can click and drag our files here. We've got fake invoice, we've got receiving document, and we've got purchase order. It's probably going to give me an error. Okay, yeah, sure enough. So could not resolve authentication method. So even though I set the API key, at least I thought I did, it's not working. So we're going to pause on this one, but at least we had some really good progress with the really cool Google AI Studio. Let's check it on Replit, see if it actually built it to connect. Said, I've suggested upgrading the project to full stack. This will allow us to, oh, I see, confirming full stack. So I'd have to convert it to an app. Yeah, and I'm not paying for this right now, so it's probably not going to let me do it. I could try it. No, maybe it's not going to make me pay for it. So let's, we'll see if there's one more opportunity for this to create a working application. Now, there's no way this was linked up to Claude yet because I don't have an API key for it. But let's see. Okay, so it's actually like running the code now. Let's see what it does. All right, we got this updated. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna expand this to view full screen. So we're hoping that this, and I did enter my Anthropic API key. So we're hoping that this actually works now, that this will, similar to the Google AI Studio one, actually show some real analysis of the files. So let's use the original fake invoice for the vendor invoice. We use receiving document and then the purchase order. And these should match up correctly. Ah, I got an error. Your credit balance is too low to access the Anthropic. Oh, jeez. Okay. Let's add a little bit of balance there. 1 second. All right. Got that resolved. Bought some credits. And let's see if this works. Oh, come on. What's wrong now? Failed to extract. I can't even read the error message. Strange. Let's see if I can get it to fix the error message. I can't even read that. All right, so I gave the error to Replit and said, hey, ran into this error, and it said, oh, I see the issue. The problem is the PDFs are being sent to Claude as images, but the API doesn't directly support PDFs, only image formats. So let's see if it fixes it. So I restarted the app, and it's thinking, all right, so let's see if it actually worked. I'm going to refresh this, and let's try one more time. So we'll go ahead and jump to fake invoice too. So that's the vendor invoice. Oh, come on. Accept my invoice. Vendor invoice. Not working. Right, let's try it here. Vendor invoice. Oh, did it break the app? It's not accepting files anymore. Oh no, now it's not accepting PDFs. Oh no, I can't upload PDFs. No, it did say it's like reaching its limit, so we might get stuck here on the free one. It got us close, not all the way there though. Okay, it's going to add PDF to image conversion so you can upload PDFs, and then the backend will convert it to images. That seems like a solid approach. Let's see if it works. All right, let's see if this puppy worked. One last shot. I'm going to open it up to the full screen or full browser, and let's pull these files and see if it works. So do fake invoice 2, boom. Ah, it's not taking the, okay, take a screenshot first. All right, fine. We'll do the workaround for you. We'll do the hard work for you. So I've got these already here. So we'll do our fake invoice. I guess I'll do a screenshot. And I'm gonna save to documents. And then go to documents. And okay, so that's the invoice. Go back here. That's my vendor invoice. Okay, so at least we got that. Now let's do receiving document. And let's save that as our receiving document. And then finally the purchase order. And purchase order. Will it work? Failed again. Oh man, this is one of the vibe coding issues that I've seen is like, you're not working with the code yourself, and there's something in the back end that's just not working right. And if you're not an engineer, you're not going to necessarily be able to string it together, get it working. So, all right, I got one last, surprise for you to take a look at. Let's take a look again at this VS Code. What I have here is I had basically the GPT 5.1 Codex Max, so like the kind of newest version, highest and best, codex from OpenAI, writer version 2. And this one's looking pretty slick. We got to see if we can get it to work. There was an install issue I was having with one of the dependencies, so I'm going to see if I get that working. But if it is, let's see if this one works. So hold your horses. All right, got this puppy up and running. Wasn't too hard. Let's see if this actually works. So let's open this up. So far, it looks nice. Got AI-powered AP validation. We'll load up our files here. So we've got, let's see, fake invoice 2, vendor invoice. Ugh, again. Okay, click and fake invoice 2. And it's not even working there. Is it not taking the PDF? I wonder if I go back and do the images, would that work? Nope. All right, you know what? This sounds cool, but something's not working here, so I'm just gonna say screw it. Well, folks, we saw some pretty cool stuff today. I gave you a tour of different vibe coding options, and we built a few apps that do a three-way match automation. Only really had two successful ones. There was the Replit, which kind of kind of worked, although wouldn't think we'd call it a complete success. So I think it was the Gemini AI Studio was really only one that worked from this first go around. The other ones seemed like a good start. We'd have to string up the back end a little bit better for them to work, but really impressed with how well the AI Studio one worked for this. But some of the other views looked really nice too, and I like some of the features that we saw in some of the other examples as well. But if you like this video, please give me a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one.